about 30 minutes ago, at the time of this recording, Xbox just, crossed the threshold into total failure. They've gone over the precipice. They're now sliding over the rain-slick hill down into that trench of slop and fecal matter. There is now no reason at all to have an Xbox, like at all. Try to tell me with a straight face now that exclusives don't matter. I think they matter because humans are not cold machines, right? Logically, you could deduce that everything should be multiplat. Everything should just be on everything. I mean, why not? Why wouldn't it be the case? Well, yeah, humans respond to glyphs. We respond to stories. We respond to icons. And certain things, software, like it or not, are associated with certain pieces of hardware. And it becomes a part of the collective story around that hardware. They think of an Xbox and they remember when Halo 2 came out or Halo 3 came out, and the machine would play Halo, and it became an exclusive part of owning that hardware, right? It's about the good stories you develop and the association between the software and the hardware. It happened with Sonic. Sonic was the icon of Sega. When Sonic showed up on the GameCube, you knew it was over. Sega could say that we're not producing any more hardware, and it's still not as over as when Sonic showed up in the GameCube. It's even more over when that happens because you lost the life force. Okay, you lost the thing that makes it tick. Halo was lost a long time ago, but it's not truly lost until it shows up in your enemy's territory. That means they've captured it, more or less. And if you can tell, I'm not happy that this doesn't get me excited, because as I've gotten older, I learned to feel bad for people. I learned to feel bad for other people who had different circumstances than me. And when you lose an icon like Halo, you know now for a fact that the PlayStation 6, when that comes out, is going to play everything. Right? The reason why you had these different consoles is because you expected maybe that this one was going to play these games, this one was going to play these other games, and there was enough to go around at one point to support 3 different consoles. Right? So, I mean, call it circumstances of the market or the video game industry, but now we're essentially down to 2. I'm so close to calling it, it's unbelievable, in that there's probably now more likely than not to not be another Xbox console coming in the traditional sense. The next Xbox could be a type of PC. Like, that's probably the way things are moving. Things are moving in a direction that doesn't look like traditional console gaming and handheld gaming. Right? On the long arc of history here, it's going to be more like what Xbox wants to do. Right? Software everywhere, your hardware doesn't matter. That's probably the reality down the road. But right now, call it a dead game, an old game, or what have you, Sony has won the old game, essentially. Halo is coming to PlayStation 5, but what do you think the chances are of the big kind of like Sony tentpole releases coming to Xbox now are? Less? Probably. Because why, if you've won, why would you throw any more scraps to the person you just beat? You wouldn't do it. It doesn't make sense. And a lot of things Microsoft has done in the last few years have not made sense. You can go back in time to 2013 E3, watch the reveal of Xbox One, realize that they threw away the momentum. They were winning. The PlayStation 3 eventually outsold eventually the Xbox 360 by a hair internationally, by a hair, but no one could doubt that Xbox won the cultural victory. Like, that was the place to be. They had all the coolest games, and they had the online infrastructure. They formed the good memories. They had the icons that they needed to survive, and they threw it away. I mean, it's not, let's forget about money. Let's forget about the financial side. Let's forget about a little line item on a piece of paper. And imagine the holistic world of gaming. What do you want to win, right? I want to win. I want to win history, right? I want to win. I want my hardware, my games, what have you, to earn that spot in the annals of history. And Xbox has become history in a bad way. And it's, I mean, you killed Halo. They killed Halo, right? Halo has been failing every single time. Halo Infinite, garbage, right? They had a what is it? A 10-year long plan to support it. Nobody supports it anymore. No one cares. Imagine Nintendo breaking Mario or Zelda. Imagine, like, you can't even conceive of it, right? But why can't you can't conceive of that happening, right? I mean, maybe it was the same in the 2000s. Can you conceive of Halo being ruined, as in nobody cares about it at all, right? People are still dressing up as Mario for Halloween, right? And icons are important. As Sony does multiplat stuff with PC, but they develop the new icons as the consoles progress. We went from God of War on the PS2 and the way that was, and then we got the new God of War games. You don't have to like it, but these games are tied still, in a sense, to the hardware. What's that game? Horizon. There's another one. That, like The Last of Us, that type of thing. Spider-Man. I never played any of these, but I'm a big enough boy to understand when characters and experiences that people have are important to create the foundation of your hardware. Because exclusives, you only have to have one to put it over the edge. I'm going to buy an Xbox or I'm going to buy a PS5. Okay? They're all going to have the same games, save for one. God of War is going to be on the PS5 for sure. What am I going to go with? Duh. Duh. And that's what's going to happen. I just described to you the lifetime of the PlayStation 6. The PlayStation 6 is just one, essentially. You can pretty much call it now unless Sony does something monstrously stupid, which is not over the realm of possibility because that's what Microsoft did. Anyway, I guess that's it for Halo being on Xbox only. I said it months ago, years ago. I think I said, if Halo shows up on PlayStation, that's it. That's it. Like, that's the thing that's the last, that's our last defensible position. Like, once they break through that last barrier, there's no guarantee you have on anything anymore. So here's to Halo Multiplat. I'm sorry I had to make this video. It's not going to be great when now Sony owns all of the non-Nintendo console market. And let's be honest, Nintendo is a market all of its own, right? It's a market on its own that you can't compete with. I wonder why. I wonder why you can't compete with Nintendo. I wonder why they're in a different category. I wonder why Xbox and PlayStation said that they don't even think about competing with Nintendo, because they know they can't. They competed with each other. Why do you think that was? Nintendo has the software. They know they have it. They don't devalue their software ever. Okay? The first party Nintendo stuff, that's not going on sale. So you better buy it now. And it's not going to be on other hardware. It's on Nintendo. And they cultivated that. Which one is thinking ahead? Microsoft or Nintendo? Which one was thinking further ahead? Right? Cultivating good memories. Associating your icon with your hardware. Humans respond to these things. They respond to visuals. They respond to music. They respond to art. They're not a robot. They're not robots. Okay? They're not just going to say, yeah, everything should be multiplat and that's fine. No, we think illogically. And Nintendo's good at that. And now Microsoft isn't, because they're gone. So they're not going to be around to hear that tree fall in the forest. They're just gone. The tree's not going to make any sound.